Let's hope that the Noise County Council still the pledge of allegiance
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On tonight, and just first of all, I'm gonna have we got a couple students from Forest Park. I'm gonna have them introduce themselves to the public before we get started. So if you guys would tell us your name and
Carter Fleck, Toby Tubbs.
well, thank you for attending.
Thank you for coming
And
showing some interest.
okay, well, let's start out with the minutes of November 27th that were sent to us. Is there any additions or revisions of those minutes? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as stand and look for a second.
I'll second.
Sonia has seconded.
Who first did it?
I made the motion. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So first on the agenda here, we have the Regional Sewer District, Mary Alston. She's gonna talk to us a little bit about Baker Tilly agreement and a couple other things.
First of all, I just want to kind of give a general update. I sent, everybody should have gotten a copy on the meeting minutes, but also had the Baker Tilly contract with that. If you have any questions on the minutes or what we discussed, I'll be glad to take those. But just kind of in general, we are still focused on having a 60% design set by the end of the year. So those will be available and discussed in the Regional Sewer District Committee, that progress meeting, that second week in January. We do those, tomorrow is our December meeting, the second Tuesday of every month is when we meet. So we'll have copies of the 60% set of plans for the small committee to review at that meeting. And I will also email all of you all a link so that everybody will be able to download those and look through them. I will say that they are 60%, so we ask that you don't distribute them out to the public yet, but they are there will be a link to that for your all's review. We are still waiting to hear back from IDEM as to when they're going to schedule their public meeting, which is the final step of the formation of the district. I've gotten him all the contact information to reserve the room and get that set up. And unfortunately, when I talked to Ed just a couple of weeks ago, he still hadn't heard from Paul with IDEM to schedule a room. So I have sent Paul with IDEM another email, asking for an update, but I haven't gotten any dates from him yet. As soon as we have dates for that, I'll let you know. I would assume at this point, with the holidays coming up, that he's probably going to be waiting until the beginning of January. I doubt we'll do something here in the next 2 weeks. But I'll let you know if we get something from that. As far as kind of where we are in the last progress meeting, we went over kind of just preferences as far as what equipment types and kind of the general layout for the lift stations, whether you want parking available, if you want them covered, fencing, all of those just kind of typical preferences. Part of this project really is to set up your all standards. While we did do the bylaws as well as the ordinances that go along with the sewer district as part of the formation requirements for IDEM, also you'll want to develop actual standards so that if a developer comes along and they're in charge of, if they're doing a subdivision and they're doing the initial construction and the regional sewer district is eventually going to take over that infrastructure, which is the way that process normally works, you want to make sure we've got a set of standards for them to follow so that all of your infrastructure is uniform as far as the products being used and those types of things. So that's really what we talked about mostly, the November progress meeting. Tomorrow's progress meeting, we will have a set of plan and profile sheets and just kind of be looking at the general alignment and those types of things. I have started trying to contact property owners that are related to the lift station properties. Those are the most important. Had a difficult time getting phone numbers, but I do have at least a few of them, and I have left messages. I was hoping to get down here earlier today and start going door to door. Unfortunately, it was a typical Monday, and that did not happen. But tomorrow, like I said, I'll be back here for the progress meeting, and I plan to be here all day and do the door to door. So I'll do some before our progress meeting, and then I'm gonna stay in afterwards to try to, catch people after work for those that aren't home earlier in the day. So we're starting those contacts, and on the right of entry forms that apply to pretty much everybody who's along those routes. We don't actually need easements for those. Everything is in the right of way, but the right of entry forms allow us to do temporary construction easements. So even though the final utility will be within the right of way, obviously during construction, the contractors need a little bit more room. And so that's the main point of those. We do plan to send out a email to everybody that we have email addresses for, basically everybody who's shown up to any of the public meetings in the Hayesville area, as a reminder about the right of entry, and just to say, here's our number, call us if you have any questions. And so that's going to go out at the beginning of next week, and we're going to start doing door to door on those as well, to start trying to collect those for the people that don't come and turn them in. Any questions about where we are or what's going on any of that before we start about Baker Tilly?
Who should we expect that this could be? Are you gonna be going door to
Yes.
door?
Mhm.
Or, okay,
Yes. As of right now, the days that are scheduled, I will be doing it. I will say overall, it'll either be David or I.
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. Want to make sure that whoever's going door to door has enough information to answer questions and feel really comfortable with the answers they're giving. So it'll either be David or we won't send,
Well, that's why I was just curious if somebody locally was calling and asking, so then they had an idea.
Yes. Yeah.
I will bring you the 2 right of entries that I have.
Oh, you did get 2 of them?
I have 2 of them. I've had 2 for a little while, but
Wonderful.
I mean,
Great.
I kept thinking I'd get more, but I never did.
And
So I'll
that's
bring them
good to-
tomorrow to our meeting.
I think once we send the reminder email out, we'll start to get more. And as I start going door to door, I think even if I haven't gotten to it, word will start to spread, and I'm hoping that it'll pick up pace as far as people turning them in. So, I did bring printed copies of the Baker Tilly contract that was emailed to you all. This is basically an addendum to the original contract that was signed, I believe November of last year. And for the most part, it's like I said, it's an extenuation of the one from November. It is hourly basis, not to exceed. So these are budgetary numbers. You'll only be charged for the work that they do. Eventually, there will be a lump sum contract from them when we actually get to bonding and all of that. But they can't really price that out until SRF tells us exactly how much we're bonding and all of that. So this basically gets you to that point. I will say that the budgetary numbers that are given in here on the not to exceed amounts, I feel are very comfortable. I don't see that you're gonna get anywhere near those full amounts with the effort that they need, except for possibly the section that's for negotiating the interlocal agreement, the wholesale rate. That is really just gonna depend on how much back and forth there is, that they need to do, how many meetings are involved in it, if they need to physically be present for. But the other two sections, those for the most part are minor updates that need to be done, so I don't think you'll see huge billings on those two sections. Any questions on that?
I don't think so. I don't have any, I think, as far as the council's concerned, these dollars will be coming out of the ARPA funds that we set aside for the service. That's how we pay for this. So I think the commissioners approved these already.
Yes.
And,
I haven't submitted the executed contract back to Baker Tilly yet. I wanted to wait until we met today just to make sure there weren't any.
They signed off on it last Monday.
Yes, they did, yeah. But I had told Baker Tilly I was gonna hold it until this meeting and then I would send it to them. So, just in case there was any major objection or something, But, any questions?
I don't have any. Does anybody else on the council have any questions? Any agreement? I read it all. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, it's good. As far as-
No. I have a question.
Yes.
So this IDEM meeting that we're waiting on,
Mhm.
by them not holding it, is that gonna put us back, or is that,
Yes. The final formation is 30 days from the date of that meeting.
and we were hoping to form before next spring, correct?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, like, they're all ready to go. I'm surprised that it didn't happen, and the only thing I think it was we kind of got to Thanksgiving and the holidays, and he's got pushed back because he hasn't even responded to my last two emails. But I feel pretty confident that based on our conversation, that it'll happen January at the latest. So, and you've got 30 days from that day, so we will still be finished with formation before we resubmit our SRF application. I feel
And that's
pretty comfortable
in
with that.
March or February?
It is at the end of March. It has to be completed before April 1st. So, like I said, the Regional Sewer District Committee meets tomorrow at 1:00. I am meeting with Cerise at 3:00 tomorrow at Wings and Rings, whatever that. Just because she would like some more information to get caught up on some details and things that she's got questions about as far as kind of design preferences and more technical stuff that she'd like more information on. Anybody else who would like to join us is more than welcome to. If you like some more like one-on-one discussion about what's going on and what the plans are, more than happy to, more than welcome to join us.
That's good of you, thanks.
That's good, yes.
Yeah, so as I understand, like not everybody can be at the actual monthly meetings. And like I said, that invitation is open anytime. I mean, I'm always glad to meet with any of you all, or do a phone call or conference call or anything if you want to discuss more details.
Well, thank you for waiting and going through that. There was a lively discussion at the commissioners meeting, a lot of details.
I read the minutes.
Okay, yeah. And I was there at the meeting and there was, Baker Tilly is doing, they're separate. There's gonna be things that, that certain instances they'll be representing the city and the county in some negotiations, and they assured us that they assured us there will be firewalls involved to keep it separate. Plus Mary will be, helping us and giving us recommendations and input too, as well as what, we'll do as a council, and the commissioners will be doing their due diligence. But thank you for doing that. I'm guessing that's kind of,
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you.
And we always kind of take a double check over those numbers and make sure that they seem reasonable to what we're used to, what the region should call for and all of that. So you will have that complete independence on our side as well. We are working with Baker Tilly to set up an initial kind of kickoff for that interlocal agreement. We're hoping to do it at our January progress meeting, so that second week in January. And that way we will have both your all's representatives from Baker Tilly, Jasper's representatives from Baker Tilly, Jasper, and the county's regional sewer district committee, all at that meeting to kind of lay out exactly what those procedures are, how we're gonna make sure all that happens and all of that. So I did talk to them about trying to get that set up for the beginning of January.
Ultimately, the commissioners will lead group and they'll be responsible for everything. The companies will give recommendations, but ultimately it's, us as elected officials that are gonna be held accountable to make sure everything's right.
Correct.
So the appointment of the board members of the district, when would they be appointed after this is formed?
As soon as we get the final formation from IDA, it'll be time to appoint them. So yeah, we kind of talked about it, I guess about 2 months ago at the progress meeting, that needs to that thought process needs to start happening and think about who's the right fit for that, because yeah, it'll be coming up here pretty quickly. Within the next 60 days, I would say, you'd be wanting to make that appointment, those appointments.
Yeah, that's good. I think we got some good people in mind here, so. I don't think we have to take any action as a council, so I appreciate you coming. I don't have any other questions.
No problem. Thank you guys. Like I said, anytime you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, are you ready?
Yep. Good evening, everyone. So the reason I'm here this evening is because from January 1, we're going to have a vacancy at the health department. So what's happening is Joanna Buck, which is the school liaison right now, she applied for the community health worker, the bilingual community health worker. So we hired from within for that position, which means the school liaison position will be open January 1. So we're going to do a little shifting. So we've taken one nurse out for the grade 3, and the other one that is doing home health took her patients. So she's mainly doing home health. So we're down to like 3 nurses doing all the immunizations, blood draws, drug screens, all those types of things. So what I'm proposing is to hire a nurse in that school liaison position so they can kind of help out with the school clinics and also whenever they're in the department, help with immunizations, whatever needs that department may have. So I'm hoping tonight just going to get your prior approval to go ahead and post it and get the hiring process going, because I didn't have enough time to get it advertised to get an additional appropriation, because obviously the salary is going to go from Cobot 3, which is clerical, to Pat 4, is it, I believe, for a nurse. So all this money is coming out of the school liaison grant. Currently there's $700,000 and some change, and then by the time the end of this year comes, once we meet our deliverables, there'll be another $400,000 coming. So, granted, the position is going to continue to get paid, so it's plus or minus, there'll be a little bit over $1 million in that fund. So hopefully that'll sustain this nursing position, our PRN positions, and then whatever needs we have out of that grant. Probably for 6-7 years, and at that point, probably move it to the Health First Indiana Fund is the plan. So I can't get the additional appropriation, because we didn't advertise it. I just kind of want to get your guys' prior approval to go ahead and post the position and try to get the hiring process for the nurse going.
Is it a full-time job?
It's a full-time position.
And you need to be an RN?
Yeah, I would like to be an RN, because they're going to be going into the schools doing hopefully the vision and hearing screenings for the school nurses. And then we want to try to start some type of kind of dental screening program for the kids at school too, because that's very up-and-coming, and it's, basically, good oral health is going to contribute to good health, down the road.
And that's 9 to 4?
8 to 4, Monday through Friday, so an hour lunch, 7 hour per day.
Now, the commissioners approved creating the new nurse position
getting rid of the clerk position.
So they changed it from a COMOD 3 to a PAC
Right.
4.
And so you're probably not gonna have anybody hired January 1,
No, I can't
but
put them in the position, so I have the money appropriate, which is gonna be January 28th, right?
well, we'll do an additional in January.
I mean, there is enough money in there to get me probably till October, but I don't know if it's up to you guys to let me start them January 1, if I can get somebody in there, because there's money there, I just need additional to get the nursing salary to the end of the year. I think there's $41,000 and some change.
I think we need like 12 or 13,000 to complete it.
But I don't know how that works. If it's not earmarked for a nurse, if I can, pay part out of that. So I'm fine, waiting till January 28th till we get the approval. I just want to try to get somebody in line to step into it because it's, hard enough to find somebody qualified.
With the new pay scale, you think you'll have a problem, or?
I'm hoping it'll
That
help.
is it, right?
I'm hoping. We're gonna, one of the things we're gonna try for, which is probably shoot for the stars, is try to find somebody that can be a bilingual nurse too. That's gonna be tough. I know we're gonna say, prefer, but it's not gonna be mandatory. Because Joanna was our interpreter, bilingual specialist, and now she's gonna be doing a lot of home visits, so she's gonna be out of the department a lot, which then kind of takes away from our immunizations. We have a lot of, Medicaid, Hispanics coming to us for vaccinations, and she steps in and helps them with translation, and it's been a huge help. So that's gonna be a hope, but, I don't know if we're gonna be able to find that.
Would an LPN work, or do you want RN?
To be able to do like the education in schools and those types of things, I would prefer to keep it with an RN, just so that, the standard of care is, there. We don't have to have, an RN overseeing the LPN. I want them to be kind of independent and go do, their own thing.
I did create a salary amendment ordinance, but we can wait until we do an additional next time, or we can have it. I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know how
It's
you
unusual.
guys have to tell me how the money works.
Yeah,
If I
it's-
can go ahead and get the position hired before January 28th, because there's money there, and then we can do an additional to cover the rest, I'm okay with that. If you say, no, that's not gonna work, then wait until January 28th or 29th, and, I have to get your guys' mercy on that, so,
We can't do an additional for next year until next year,
yes.
so.
But the money that has already been budgeted was.
But there is money there, and you have two line items. You have the PRN line item,
Yes.
and you have the clerk line item, which,
But can I pay for a nurse's salary out of the clerk's line?
well, we'd have to move money out of the one to the other or something like that. Because that clerk position no longer exists.
Mhm.
That is now a nurse position, it's just not fully funded yet.
Yes.
So you're looking for position, or for approval to advertise and
Higher.
to hire?
The commissioners already approved it from a COMOD 3 to a PAP, which is clerk to nurse. I just need to figure out what you guys want to do with the money.
You guys have to approve that you'll fund that position. And we'll do that.
Advertise a salary amendment ordinance before.
You don't have to advertise a salary amendment ordinance.
You
You
don't.
just have to advertise the additional appropriation, we're gonna use the extra money.
So
So if you guys have a consensus to, yes, you approve of this,
We just need to raise our hands today.
then we'll do the majority of we'll advertise and all that for January's meeting.
For the additional.
Right. And if you say, yeah, you can go ahead and spend it, but we don't have the order from the state yet.
So the budgets that went to the state haven't been approved yet.
No, we don't have our budget order yet.
Okay, so is there any, suggestion or any
I expect
comments
it
on
time, but
these?
I mean, the odds of you finding someone in 2 weeks,
Slim.
Slim.
I mean, we're gonna advertise it probably
Yeah.
for 2 weeks. I'm thinking, it's probably gonna be mid-January if I'm even lucky. January 28th is not the end of the world. It's just, I guess the other problem is I have one nurse on maternity leave right now, so I'm down to two. Trying to do everything with vacations and
but you
holidays, and
do have a PRN line item, you could get PRNs in there.
we have been bringing them in
Yes.
regularly, but PRNs are not really able to do the inside child, infant immunizations, the drug screens, the blood draws, those types of things. I'm kind of down to 2 right now. So the sooner for me, the better. Well, the department, the better. I mean, it's the nurses that are kind of taking the brunt of it right now. I'm trying to, help them and get by, but,
Anybody else? Yeah, so we ready for a show of hands that we're going to approve to the base advertise, and so I think everybody in favor of it. So seems like it's unanimous.
Do you want to go ahead and do the salary ordinance, or do you want to wait till when we do the additional in January? I didn't know, so I prepared it.
I mean, I think we'll go ahead and do it.
Um,
I mean, I don't think there's.
The school liaison nurse, $2,052.40 biweekly. And I have on here that it'll take effect January 1.
so theoretically, if I could find somebody
Mhm.
by January 1, I can approve to hire them, right? And then I'll just need to come through.
Then we'll come and do the additional.
Do I need to come on swing to do the additional, or are you guys good with just knowing that it's gonna be an additional, whatever? 12
I'll
or
present
13?
it.
I mean, I can come back if I have to.
We just need to do it the first meeting in January, right?
January
It's
28th.
just the end of the month.
I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. There's enough in there to get you to October, but you probably want to get it done sooner than later.
Like I said, if worse come to worse, he always has money in the PRN line item that we could transfer up to this to cover it.
Does that take a motion for us?
I was just trying to make sure we don't get any grant out of order and mess anything up like that source.
If you approve the salary ordinance, you're giving me permission to kind of make sure that that's funded. But I darnly don't change any salaries unless you guys sign off on it.
Well, if the commissioners approve it,
They just find it.
classifications, does anybody have any issue with?
Yeah, I have that on here that The commissioners approved this on December 4th.
I don't. Alex, you got any, you okay with it? Okay, so I guess I'll entertain a motion, unless there's other discussion here. I'll entertain a motion to approve this salary ordinance.
Second.
Okay, Doug, I made a motion and Alex seconded it, so any other discussion? So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Appreciate it. Any bilingual nurses sending my way. Feel like a leader for a uniform.
Seems like
Somebody
a
who's not
good-
working and doesn't have to give notice?
It seems like it pays well. I mean,
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get more applicants. So we'll see.
Well, that's what I was saying, that's the impetus to get this ball rolling, it's not gonna be easy, might take you a minute. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Thank you. So we will then look at Brett, if you ready for us?
Come back the third time, 15th Street. I apologize for this. Give you a little background on what's going on. So 15th Street extension, we've talked about that numerous times. Originally came in for just the design. The city created an interlocal agreement to do the design. They also added construction. I wasn't ready for it, kind of threw a curveball because there's so many unknowns going on with the design. I hate to budget money, but I don't know how much is in it. They're adamant they want to do it all in one interlocal agreement, one and done. I get it, I respect that, I don't have a problem with it, but with that being said, I'm coming back in for $1 million to build this bridge on 15th Street, that's what I'm asking for. I don't think it's gonna cost that, I'm going to adamantly make sure it doesn't cost that, but that's what the city is saying it's gonna cost, and that's what they wanna hold it to, so. That's the reason behind it. There is money in our King Bridge for projects like this, $1 million. You know, we build the pot up, so we get a big bridge like this, we spend it, we'll build the pot up again. And we'll find another big bridge to build.
How much do you think it's gonna cost?
I think realistically probably $750. So it's not gonna be an overly big bridge. If we were building this in-house, which we can't because it's over the 250 threshold, I think we could build it in-house for 400, but we can't because it's state code. We have to contract it out and bid it out, so.
So how much did we pay for engineering? Was that 150?
150,000, that's correct. So the interlocal agreement for $1,150,000.
That includes engineering and everything.
That'd be everything, that's out the door, correct. Chad has mentioned that he'd like to keep it in there. You know, we will not write them a check for all that, we're gonna wait till the project comes in, and we'll pay them as they get invoiced. That way we can keep that money, we can keep drawing interest off that money.
So hey, explain that, how would that work? Would the city get the money, then they would pay the contractor
So what
to build it?
we want to happen, and what we've done with Huntingburg, had success with, is Huntingburg received the invoice from the contractor for every month or every week, depending on, or bi-weekly, depending on how the contract's set up. Then they would find out how much is for the bridge, how much is for the roadway. We would pay for the bridge. They would send us, in turn, send us an invoice for $100,000 for that month's work. We would pay the city their portion,
Okay,
is what we would do.
do you get to review that?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, any questions? Brent?
Now, since all bridges are ran through the county funded and
Correct.
everything, what is the county's responsibility then? Basically, bank to bank?
No, it's approach to approach, as you go up to the bridge. For instance, the one in Huntingburg, which is the big one, that's kind of one of my reference, that takes off pretty quick. It's from where it hits normal road, where you go up to where the bridge is and down. Roughly, on average, 200 to 300 feet. It can go up to 500, no more than 500 feet away.
Okay.
So we are only gonna be responsible for the bridge. I mean, maybe 40 feet either side of the bridge in this particular project.
Okay, so now this is in the city limits, but now will we be responsible for maintenance and things long term?
Correct. We will inspect it, it'll go into our bridge inventory, it'll be inspected every 2 years. Unless something goes wrong, then it'll be inspected every year. If something is found wrong with it, then it'll be on us to fix.
How much was in that fund? You said we built it up, what was it last?
It's a couple $1 million. It's healthy, let's put it that way.
So then every bridge in every city, 15th Street Bridge, out by the Riverwalk or whatever, that's county bridge.
Yep, yeah, we actually, when I first started 10 years ago, that was a big project that I had right out of the gate, was to redo that bridge.
Okay.
Correct. There was problems with that, and they did a rehab on that bridge, so that was ours.
It was my understanding that going down through the bottoms where 15th Street's gonna be extended, there's gonna have to be some special things done for wildlife
Permitting.
crossings. And
I don't know if it's
permitting
gonna be that yet. There's permitting that's gonna have to happen. The FEMA flood map is gonna have to be altered. There's a lot of permits that are gonna be done along with that. So that's where the additional, what was that? There was a 40,000 that came in for, Sandy had approved for me. That's where that came, was for the additional permitting and surveying that's gonna be done for that. The wildlife crossings, I hope don't happen, but we'll see.
Okay, but will that be something that could be a surprise?
No, that should be covered in this. That was, Butler factored that all in, so. we
But
should
will the
be-
county be responsible for that?
For maintaining them?
Like establishing them, maintaining them?
Yeah, we've got them on, Portersville Bridge. We've actually got a wildlife crossing and things like that underneath. We've got one in there. We don't.
For crossing under, it goes, so it's an extra, it
It's
lengthens
just a
the
levee
span
that sits, yeah. No, it's just a levee in the dirt, the bank.
underneath though.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but it could potentially expand, make the span a little longer.
This one on Portersville and the one in, well, not Mill Street, Meridian, those did not extend it. They just been a tiered system in the ditch. So whenever the ditch gets so high, it gets out over the top of it, let the water flow through. So it didn't actually make the bridge longer. It just made a tiered system under the bridge.
Okay, so it's still, that can be used as a temporary 24-hour overflow or something.
Yeah, correct. But that does not have to stay high and dry, no.
Just,
No, you're fine, yeah.
those are all things that can affect the
Oh,
final
yeah,
cost.
definitely.
Okay,
Right, when would this start? I mean, if it's construction.
More than likely, it's gonna be 25, more than likely. The permitting process and the FEMA map alterations, if they happen, take a year to get approved by the state and the feds. So, if we didn't have to do that, we were looking at the fall of 24 to get started, but more than likely, it's gonna be 25.
So, my understanding is the interlocal agreement, we would have to still sign off on that later.
You guys will sign off on the resolution to enter into the interlocal, which Craig is currently
I think Greg sent me a copy
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna have it ready for your next
for
meeting.
your next meeting. Yes, but there's a resolution that the commissioners will sign and you guys together.
I think they're gonna sign it first at their next meeting, and then
Yes.
you guys sign it after.
Correct.
All right. So anybody got any issues with that?
How do they determine how everything connects there? And-
Not exactly, no. I know there's a roundabout at, not where Legacy comes off, where the turnoff is, where we go north towards Cedar, won't go towards Cedar, they're talking about a roundabout up there where 15th and that road that goes towards Cedar would be. Then there's also talk about a light or a roundabout at 56. It's too early for me to say that's what's gonna happen, but there's gonna be some upgrades happening there.
Oh, and potentially another connection to Sheet or something.
Yeah, that's kind of the city's long-range plan. I don't want to spend too much because I don't want to.
No,
what
good
they're
enough,
thinking.
good enough.
I don't know what
was
they're thinking.
asking-
but, yeah.
Not been finished yet, okay.
Yeah.
That's all for me. Sorry.
I don't mind answering.
If I can on a consensus tonight.
I have it ready advertised, it's ready to go.
Yeah, it's been advertised. and everything.
I guess we need a motion to approve that $1 million for construction. Anybody wants to do that, or?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
Meredith made a motion, and a second,
I'll second.
Harold seconded, so any other discussion on it? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Like I said, I'm sorry, it took me 3 times to do it, but it's added more to
It
it.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Where'd your little helper go?
He's out watching a movie.
Okay, moving on here, I don't really have a whole lot here, I got the, we did go to the fire chiefs meeting, a couple of weeks ago, and, we did, I think it was 4 of us there, and we listened, the mayor was there, and I think they decided to do it. And so you're going to correct me, but I think they're asking for the different fire district to always kind of come up with a budget. And then when you submit that, it could be reviewed. I think there was a little bit of an explanation on the public safety tax, but I don't know if anybody really knew all the answers, but we didn't discuss it. But I don't know, it was an interesting meeting. I think got to meet a lot of firemen, got a tour of the DuBois Fire Station, and so it was good. So anybody else want to make a comment on that? So otherwise, I got a call from Stan Betts here the other night on the museum appointment. They do have a person in mind there from the Ferdinand area, and they have a meeting, I think, on the 14th, and maybe their final meeting for the year, and they were going to ask him to join them. He wanted to see how it operated, so if that works out, then we can appoint him at the end, for the first of the year, whenever. Because I don't think he said there's no rush to it. We don't have to have it by the end of the year, but if it does happen, we could possibly do it on the 27th. If it can work. So, I don't know. Just open it up to anyone else that wants to report anything. Well, it's going to be a short meeting tonight. The only other thing I had is I got the, kind of a budget, proposed budget for DuBois Strong. If anybody would want to review that, it's got the, we give them money. I think it's 100.
We do 100, well, 60, not quite 60,000 for DuBois Strong, and then Grow DuBois County is 40, I think it is.
But they go out to different private sectors of the local DuBois County and raise money, and that's how they fund a lot of these projects, but they do use our money and we are part of it. So, I can pass this around. I only got one copy of it, but, and I'll just start it around, but, I don't know, anyone else then? Otherwise, quiet group tonight. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Short meeting, one of the shortest ones we've had.
Except for the public hearings.
Our next meeting is December 27th at 9 a.m. I think Sandy explained it earlier, a little bit what we're gonna do to just balance the accounts, and then, you know, our first meeting of the new year is Monday, the 29th of January at 4:30, so otherwise, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion,
I'll second that motion.
Ryan has seconded, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Close the meeting.
You guys-
Come, guys, we'll send you a quiz.
Thank you, have a good Christmas.
You too.